Hello there, hotties. I am going to share with you today my favorite bone broth. And just so that this is not a discussion piece after, we took out our microwave because we don't use microwaves. We won't go into why I don't use a microwave on this video, but that is, we're getting a fan in there. So anyways, I've had a lot of people ask me, what is your favorite broth recipe? How do you make it? And I'm going to show you mine today. It is super, super simple. Now, having said that, I am someone who likes things bursting with flavor. I do not like bland food. I do not like food that I have to salt. I like food that has rich in flavor. So this broth may look simple, but it is rich in flavor. And it is bursting with that good yumminess that you look for in a good broth. So I've been making broth for probably 12 to 13 years, actually longer, because my mom always used to make homemade broth for our stocks and for our soups, anything like that. And we ate a lot of soup growing up. So when I make a broth, hey ladies, I want my broth to be able to be versatile, to be able to use it in, to be able to use it in a soup, to be able to use it in a sauce, to be able to use it in a casserole. Today we made spaghetti and with a spaghetti squash, and so I cooked off my hamburger, I did my canned tomato sauce, and I poured a couple of cups of broth in it for the collagen and the nutrients. Then we put over spaghetti squash, and it was different. So when you are going to be using a lot of broth, you want to have a versatile flavor, not something that is so overpowered with other flavors that you put in your broth that it kind of affects the flavor of what you're trying to make. So I'm going to show you what I use, and I use it whether I use chicken bones, he keeps hopping in here, chicken bones, whether I use beef bones, venison, whatever you're using, I always use the same recipe, and then you can flavor it further if you want to. So here's what I use. I'm going to switch the flavor around, and I apologize in advance for people that measure. I don't measure. I go according to taste. And so if it's not enough salt, you can use more salt after. But I'm usually generous with my salt because I use the Himalayan pink salt, and it is so nourishing. It's minerals. What we're doing with the broth is we're wanting minerals. So I'm just adding more with my Himalayan salt. So 89 minerals. Redmond sea salt, 69 minerals. And so both of those are good. Celtic sea salt is full of minerals, but I never, never, ever, ever use iodized or white salt in my cooking ever. They'll trick you sometimes by saying sea salt on your white salt, like in Walmart or other places, but basically all salt is sea salt for a lot of it. So don't go by that. You want your salt to have color, except the Celtic sea salt will be gray, but my sea salt is pink. And I'll answer one other question on how to store. Someone asked, how long does broth last when you store it in the fridge? So any broth that I don't drink that day, I pour it piping hot or almost simmering into mason jars, and I put the lid on hot and let it sit on my counter. While it cools, you'll hear a pop. Those jars will last in your fridge 10 days, 2 weeks or more, because they're a fake seal, but they are sealed to a point. And so they'll last in your fridge for at least 10 days, if not 2 weeks or more. So I'm going to turn around and show you how I make my broth. Let me see if I turn this around. Honey, I can't turn my phone around. Just a minute here. I practice turning it around.
Right there. That button right there. Nope.
Nope. Just a minute here. I might just have to turn my phone. For some reason, it just switched here. Okay, I'll just turn it this way. So,
how much spoonful can
here
I
is my ingredients. So I have apple cider vinegar, because you always put lemon or vinegar in your bones to pull the minerals. They help to pull the minerals from your bones. So I usually use apple cider vinegar. I use these pepper flakes, my Himalayan sea salt, I'm hoping that's right, peppercorns. I just found these, but you can use any type of peppercorn, black peppercorns, and then bay leaves. I'm hoping I'm on the bay leaves. Okay, so I'm going to take bay leaves I have a big pot here. Here's my soup bone. I sure wish I could turn this around. Let me just try one more time here. I'll push all the buttons. Oh, perfect. Okay, so here is my, just wait, Kevy. Here is my beef soup bones. I like to get some meat on them. So that's when we butchered our cow. So over here, He's going to put some of that salt in. Let's put 2 of those in, okay? I usually put a rounded tablespoon. Here, let's just go like this. A rounded tablespoon of salt in my thing. Okay, so here's my peppercorns. Okay, I can't do a spoon. Sorry, I can't see it off. It's like a mirror. Okay, so I sprinkle some peppercorns in. No, not quite so much. Put like that, okay? That is the pepper flakes. You can do as little or much. They're not that hot when you cook them. So I just sprinkle. Here's my apple cider vinegar.
Can I put it in?
I pour about tablespoon or so. You don't want to do too much or it's going to make it gross, but you want to get at least a tablespoon in when you put it in, because you want to have enough to pull the minerals but not enough to flavor. So usually it's about a tablespoon. So what I've done, to summarize, I put apple cider vinegar, the raw. I put the peppercorn, or the pepper flakes, red pepper flakes. I do the Himalayan sea salt and black peppercorns. You can use whatever black peppercorns you want. That is simple. So what I do for beef bones, I'm going to have to cook it longer. So with chicken bones, it would be less. But on average, how do you know when you have the nutrients from the bones that you want? You should be able to pick up a big, thick beef bone and pinch it in your fingers and it crumbles. So that's when you know that the nutrients that you want in you are out of the bones and in the broth. So it's going to be shorter with a fish or chicken because their bones aren't as thick. It's going to take longer for a beef bone. So what I will do with this broth is, what is the time? Here it's about 2. If I would put it on, I would put it on till tomorrow morning at least and put it on low so it just simmers, and then I will strain it off or take off the broth. And sometimes if their bones are still hard, I'll put in a little bit more water, let it simmer some more, put some salt in that and flavor it. So you can do your broth however you want to. Just make sure that you cook it or simmer it until the bones are pinched and crumble them, and then you know that you have what you want. So let's say that your bone, for some reason, your broth is not gel. It's not bad, okay? It just means that there was not enough gelatin, or sometimes you can cook it so long that you break down those proteins. It's all cool. I often will just add a little extra gelatin into my bone broth because I want the extra gelatin, the collagen. So I'll often put a tablespoon almost in every cup of broth that I have, or a good heaping teaspoon. I use the Great Lakes. I'd show it to you, but I'm out. It's on the way here for Monday. And so I'll put that in my broth. It stirs, dissolves. It's no flavor. I'm getting that extra collagen again. And I think it's around 6 grams of protein. I'd have to look per tablespoon. So again, that's a benefit of putting that in my broth. So let me see if there's any extra. Yes, you can freeze the broth if you want to. I just put it in mason jars, let it self-seal, stick it in my fridge, because broth usually doesn't last too long around here anyways, because I use in everything, and we've all had a cup or 2 of broth today. So hope that answers any questions. I didn't see any more in here, but this can be a place for broth questions, and we'll keep doing lives to answer anything you guys have. I have been drinking my broth in preparation of Monday, so excited to start this with you all.